Welcome to Collabria, a new Transport Fever 2 map now available on Steam. G'day, I'm Stephen Spry and thanks for joining me on this virtual tour of my new, large 1:4 temperate map. The year is 1860 and we're currently flying backwards, as it seems, over Collabria Bay. In the first part of this tour, the town names will show on screen as we pass over them. Hello to Bewdley and Brighton. As we head towards the first of 4 major towns on the map. Nestled on the edge of Collabria Bay is Southbank. It looks like there could be a busy harbour here in the future. And as we pass over the circular streets of Southbank, the industrial area is on the left side of town, the residential area is to the right, and the commercial is up the top. It will be interesting to see where this town decides to expand. This scene of the town is from the saved game I've developed, which includes a starting network of track and rail infrastructure as well as bus routes feeding our rail services. It cost over $200 million to include all of that, so can I suggest you have a look at the saved game if you'd like to try your own Collabrian adventure. So remember, the yards to the north of the town and the stations along the riverbank to the west are not available on the base map. Right, let's get cracking on moving northwards along the river. There are 24 towns and villages strategically located along the Collabria River and up into the hinterlands. The raw industrial resources, coal or timber and oil, have been placed where you'd probably expect to find them in nature. And, with the exception of that farm we just went past, why is it there? Most of the farms have been located in places where you'd expect farms to be, and you'll see a lot of them along the river flats as we continue northward. And here's another one of the smaller towns on the map, Sunderland. That simple change to the now non-random location of your raw resources means a different style of gameplay is needed with this map. I've also changed the placement of the main processing industries too. Yes, they're actually near urban areas. Yeah, I know, where you'd expect to see them. For example, in the small village of Redcar, right near a readily available workforce and market for their products. So that also adds a new element to the gameplay for you to be aware of. But wait, there's more. Oil-related industries, while their locations are shown on the map, are off-limits to you until 1890. Well, I would like you to wait until then to access them, please, because the oil industry really only took off when motorcars started being used. But, well, there's nothing stopping you grabbing crude oil in 1860, you know, if that's your thing. We're coming up on the second of the 4 major towns in Collabria. This is Redbend. Again, the scene here is from the saved game, which shows the rail network circling the town, with a passenger station on the right and a large freight complex off-screen to the left. At Redbend, the residences are located along the river, with the commercial area to the bottom and the industrial areas to the top of screen. Notice the 4-lane street through the centre of town. I include these wider streets because they can be so expensive to replace in-game, usually when you can't afford it as the buildings have grown too large. But wow, that's an impressive looking freight yard there with some nice stone viaducts and really snazzy looking approaches to it. And again, remember, rail does not come with a base map in Transport Fever 2. I've included it here so you can get a better idea of what you could do in the game. Now, one of the mods I used building the map allowed me to place houses with residents living in them, and those people provide horse and cart traffic along the country roads into town. Ah, Redbend Manor. I'm loving the view from here. Isn't it just magnificent? I wonder if the Baron's home. Mate, sorry, we don't have time to visit. We better get on with the tour. The plastics and goods industries have a suggested date of 1910 next to them because, well, that's essentially when the first real plastics became available for mass production purposes. So just by having to wait to use those should make your gameplay a little different. Good luck. And slightly north of Redbend is the small town of Warrington, which is essentially a dormitory suburb for Redbend. Although in later game, once oil and plastics get discovered, it will take on a new life, supplying workers to those new industries nearby. But hang on a sec, hang on. If we're not allowed to use oil and fuel until 1890, what happens with the towns that need fuel in 1860? What do we do then, mate? Well, that's why the Gasworks mod by JK is required. With that, you can take 2 coal to the gasworks to have it made into 1 fuel, and then distribute it in those towns that need it in the early game. Yeah, I know it's supposed to be piped town gas, but there are no pipes under the roads where they belong in this game for us to use. Here's the first of the medium-sized towns we'll see on this tour, the town of Bolsover. And fuel, via their town gasworks, up the back of town is one of the resources they initially need. There are 4 main regions on the map. Each region has 1 huge town, 1 medium-sized town, and 4 smaller villages and hamlets. Interestingly, both Didcot and Newland are medium-sized towns in the same region. That could be interesting. Your main task initially is to support the growth of all the towns within each individual region. In other words, you cannot use a resource or industry from Region B to ship items to towns in Region A. At least, well, not until way into the later game, until all of your resources and towns, etc. have been maximised. And now we arrive at our 3rd huge town of St Albans. In St Albans, the industry is near the rail, the commercial area to the left, and the residents are up on the hill a little ways. And check out the grand railway station at St Albans. Nice. But remember, rail is not available on the base map, which is a shame, I think. I'm only including this scene here to give you a bit of incentive to have a go at this map, or the saved game, as lots of others are doing. And I'm really happy with the initial response at Steam, with lots of people already subscribed to this map of Collabria. So thanks for that. I do hope you enjoy playing Collabria as much as I will. think it will be interesting supplying resources for the St Albans region. I've had initial thoughts about setting up a set of industrial sidings and branch lines on the other side of the river over there. Let's just see how that idea progresses. Well, we better keep heading north again so that we can get the first stage of this tour done and dusted. We passed through some absolutely beautiful countryside. I'm just loving it, with yet another sweeping curve in the river before arriving at another small town called Barrington. Now the river opens up onto a vast cultivated plain with farms as far as the eye can see. This is one of the food baskets of the map. And just a short note about the rivers: 99% of the rivers on the map are completely navigable. So if shipping's your thing, you'll be able to be rolling on a riverboat as much as you like. And now for the fourth and final huge town of Collabria. It's Northbridge. There are 3 extra special industries that Collabria uses, because I thought they might just add a little nuance to the game. There's the gasworks, the mail sorting centre, and of course the rubbish dump, which processes the waste your normal industries produce. Each major town contains the mail and waste processing plants, which you'll have to use to meet the needs of all the towns in your region. At Northbridge, the industrial area is near the river, then the commercial area, and then the residential is further inland. And on the other side of the river is the racecourse. The what? Pardon? The race? What racecourse? Sorry. Just checking to see if you were still awake, mate. Actually, it's the Northbridge rail yard. And a damn fine-looking specimen if ever I saw one. So, how about we head up top for a satellite view of the entire map? Brr, with that wind I feel a little bit cold up here. So now we'll just do a quick trip from north to south along the wonderful map so you can get the bird's eye view on what it all looks like. So, quick question for you. How'd this name Collabria come about? Glad you asked. The map was originally designed for a YouTube collaboration, which will happen when everyone is available. But I thought it probably should also be tested in the real world before inflicting it on some unsuspecting YouTube creators. And in the development process, I realised that you could even try playing this with 3 of your friends if that's your thing, by sharing your saved games. Hence the name Collabria, derived by me from the word collaborate. Ooh, nice. I like that. I wanted to have a look at one of these orchards. It could be set up as a farm if you wanted to use the freestyle industry mod, but I wanted to show you the person riding up to the house on a horse and cart, coming home from work or shopping. Oh, and one of my favourite things to detail on these maps, which I started way back on the Tiny Map Challenge, was putting all of these tree stumps in with the log camps in the forests. They just seem to add that extra little touch of realism to the whole shebang. Cambridge is another medium-sized town, and with plenty of room for expansion, it seems. The town planners had a field day with that design, so let's hope the game likes it and fills in a few of those blanks. And now, as we head back north towards Redbend, I did want to show you another forest. Yeah, I know, I seem to have this thing with them. But you see, the way the game places the forestry camp in the middle of wherever, often even without trees around it, really annoys me. So instead I like to place them in locations where there are trees. Duh! Well, that should be obvious. But what's not so obvious is the number of dirt roads that radiate out around these camps, into the woods where the timber trucks head out to get the lumber. So, on most of the forests on the map, I've added these extra roads, which if you're clever, you could have working trucks using them. And of course, I had to include even more tree stumps. So let's continue our flight straight up the middle of the map. This time around, let's just enjoy the scenery and the farmlands below. I quite like the spread of trees over the map, particularly how they've been used to mark out the inland creeks and streams that go up into the hills. And there's a dam or two on some of the properties. And orchards. Lots and lots of orchards. And the fourth of our medium-sized towns is Lutterworth, shown here in the top left corner of screen. And now, time for some aerial acrobatics above Northbridge. Hopefully, this won't get me in trouble somehow. Ready? That was funny. Oh, it's okay, mate. You're all good. There were no planes around in 1860, so it must have been a UFO. No one could pin that manoeuvre on you, mate. So let's do a quick review of the 4 major towns or regions of Collabria. First, there was Northbridge, right? Heading south, St Albans, with even more crazy stunt flying to amuse the locals. Sorry, it was early days with the camera manager trying to work this out, and yeah, okay. Sorry again. I've done about 600 or 800 frames since, and I've sorted that problem out. Oh dear. So we're heading south now along the Collabria River, heading towards beautiful downtown Redbend. Big open space there just to the bottom of screen. We'll make an ideal rail yard one day. What was that? My evil maniacal laugh? No. Pass. Okay. And of course, high on the hill above Redbend. G'day, Baron. How you going, mate? Hey. I don't think he's home this time. Not with that accent. Hey, there's your infamous forest again. Yeah, it just adds something to the maps. I mean, there's still a few that are ordinary. You can dress them up if you want, but quite a few of them have the roads and the stumps. And we slowed down. Why? Nothing to see here. Oh yes, there is. Minehead, the town on the top left hand. It's gone now. Okay, all right. Here's that forest with the Scots pines. I hate them. I really don't like them as part of the general tree population. In fact, I don't include them in my tree brush settings. No, hate them. They're like a weed on the map. Well, carry on, Stephen. Well, sorry. I think they are. And finally, of course, we're back at Southbank. And here, you can clearly see the trees that will need to be removed to build our lovely train station along that riverbank there. Right next to this beautiful harbour, which, by the way, is perfectly aligned with the map grid. Well, there's a first. Yep, well, hopefully that'll make your building here a lot easier than what it usually is. Anyway, I hope you'll subscribe to Collabria the Map on Steam and have fun playing it yourself, or with 3 of your friends if you want to. The link to the Steam page is in the description. And don't forget, there's also a save game available with 100 kilometres of track already expertly laid and stations built specially for you. That link is also below. Please join me again on YouTube as Collabria gets some wings and we start playing it. It's been fun having you here, and until next time, it's hooroo from me, and it's goodbye from him. We'll see you then.